Fernand van Tetz is covering this case for us, and she joins me now from The Hague. Fernand, tell us more then about this ruling.
So this ruling was broken down into collective, individual and symbolic damages. The collective and individual damages, that's 2.7 million euro sum. There were also symbolic damages, €1 for the government of Mali and €1 for the international community, and that will be paid to UNESCO. Now, the individual charges, that will only go to people who had a direct connection to the shrines. They had their ancestors buried there, or they perhaps were economically reliant on the shrines to make their living. The rest of the collective damages will go to the whole of Timbuktu, because the people that filed this case, 139 plaintiffs, they, the judges here said, do not represent the entirety of the group that was damaged by these attacks. Now, the problem is how this money will come about. Ahmad Al-Mahdi, who was in the dock today, present here, he does not have this 2.7 million. He couldn't even pay his own legal costs for that trial back in September. So there is something called the Trust Fund for Victims. That is the mechanism here that will pay out that sum. They are now starting to fundraise to get that 2.7 million euros together. Now, there's also no breakdown of that figure yet, how much of that will be collective, how much of that will be individual, and how much will go to symbolic things like memorials and ways to heal the community. Now, that kind of information is expected in February when the Trust Fund for Victims comes up with a plan about how to implement this historic settlement.
Fernand, this could set a precedent when it comes to punishing cultural destruction around the world.
Well, this is the first of its kind, the first damages handed down by the International Criminal Court. Earlier, there have been convictions for the destruction of cultural heritage as a war crime, for example, at the UN Tribunal for the former Yugoslavia. But they are hoping that as this becomes a bigger and bigger thing, you can think of the destruction in Palmyra in Syria, in Nimrud in Iraq. Of course, the hope is that this kind of settlement will have an impact. However, that Trust Fund for Victims has also warned that a settlement of this size could also incentivize actually the destruction that they're trying to stop, because people who are poor could also see this as a way of ensuring a payout. So we'll have to see going forward, and I think that will be extremely important in the breakdown of that sum, how it is spent, whether it has the deterrent effect that I think the court here hopes it does.
All right, thank you very much, Fernand van Tetz in The Hague for us.